Thanks to everyone who have subscribed. If you have not, please do. And thanks for coming out here. I really appreciate you. US announces additional 40 million US dollars aid to Nigeria. New York. The United States has announced an additional $40 million, that is 14 billion naira aid to Nigeria to address the humanitarian crisis arising from the decadence of the Boko Haram insurgents. The Secretary of State, Mr. Mike Pompeo, who made the announcement in Washington, D.C. on Tuesday, said this was in addition to the nearly $350 million, which is 122.5 billion naira, in assistance provided by the U.S. last year. Pompeo spoke during a joint media briefing with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Geoffrey Onyema, after the U.S.-Nigerian Bilateral Commission (BNC) meeting hosted by the Department of State. The Foreign Minister, Onyema, and I discussed today the massive humanitarian crisis that the conflict of Boko Haram and ISIS West Africa and other religious ethnic violence has cost the people. We know that these issues are hard. We know that they are complicated. But I strongly encourage the Nigerian government to do more to protect its citizens, including religious communities and in humanitarian organizations seeking to assist them. To aid in this effort, I am pleased to announce today an additional $40 million in humanitarian assistance to Nigeria, adding to the nearly $350 million we have provided last year, he said. The BNC is a platform for the Nigeria and US governments to expand cooperations and advise share goals in the areas of trade and investment, development, good governance, and security. Pompeo said the two-day meeting also featured discussion on security, cooperation between both countries, especially Nigeria's recent purchase of 12 US-made A-27 fighter planes worth $500 million. The sales of the aircraft, according to him, is in support of Muhammadu Buhari's vision of building a secure force with the best training and modern weaponry. He said the US would hold Nigeria to the pledge of ensuring that the country's military operations with the highest standard of respect for human rights. And on his part, Onyema described the security challenges facing the country as an extremely threatening one, but was quick to note that they were being addressed with respect to human rights. Of course, we are faced with other security issues within Nigeria, and we know that some of them cause disquiet among our partners, and we are addressing a number of these. In addressing those internal challenges, and especially the security area, we absolutely make it clear and strive to uphold human rights. We have the greatest interest in protecting and respecting human rights of our population, and we do that, he said. Find below transcript of the briefing. Secretary Pompeo, well, good morning, everyone. It is my pleasure to welcome you, ministers, to your entire Nigeria delegations to the Washington, D.C. The foreign minister and I completed a very productive conversation on how to continue to strengthen the economy and security ties between the two nations. It is a real priority for us in the Trump administration in Africa because Nigeria is Africa's most populous democracy and largest economy. On that note, let me begin and talk about economic cooperation. Nigeria is already America's second largest trading partner in Africa. US companies from Google to Chevron to KPMG invested over $1 billion in Nigeria in 2018 alone, creating over 18,000 jobs and indirectly supporting 3 million others. It's what American companies do. It's what we do all around and over the world every day, and do it in a spirit of transparency and partnership with the host nation. The foreign minister and I discussed how we can tackle and tie our trade ties even further, including in infrastructures investment, embracing free trade politics that attracts capital, private capitals, ensuring consistency, enforcement of law and order, and fighting corruption are part of our plans and promises for the Nigeria economy. We are pleased too that President Muhammadu Buhari has patronized our fighter jets in support excuse me, in support of that fight. I am announcing today that the United States and Nigeria have signed an agreement to return the Nigerian people more than 308 million in assets stolen by a former dictator. Now, I will turn to our security cooperation, which has also been expanding. Cases in point, Nigerian recent 500 million purchase of 12 US-made A-27 aircraft. This supports President Buhari's recent state goal of creating a secure force with the best training and modern weaponry. He also pleaded that those forces will be held to the highest standard of respect for human rights. The United States will hold Nigeria to the play and I will help you achieve it. The United States has already invested in the training of Nigerian military on human rights and law of armed police and navy officers. Nigeria is one of the first African nations to join the global coalition of defense against the IS. US is now supporting the Nigerian fight against IS largest global country. IS West Africa is dangerous threat to both our countries. In part though to this terrorism threat, on Friday, President Trump announced the suspension of immigrant visa for Nigerians because Nigeria has room to grow in sharing information of important national security to the nation. I am optimistic that that's going to happen. In the proclamation, President Trump highlighted Nigeria's importance as a strategic partner in the global fight against terrorism and recognition of the government's commitment to improving information sharing with us. The foreign minister and I discussed today the massive humanitarian crisis and the conflict with Boko Haram and IS West Africa and other religious and ethnic violence. We know that these issues are hard. We know that they are complicated, but I strongly encourage the Nigerian government to do more to protect its citizens, including religious communities and humanitarian organizations seeking to assist them. To aid in the effort, I am pleased to announce today an additional 40 million US dollars in humanitarian assistance to Nigeria, adding to the nearly 350 million that we provided last year. In closing, I would like to thank you for being here with me today, for joining us with a big delegation to work on addressing all these important opportunities that our two countries have between us. Thank you, Foreign Minister Oyema. Thank you very much, Secretary. Well, first of all, I would like to say it's been a great pleasure to be back in Washington to attend bilateral commission between the United States and America. The commission for us is a very important and valuable framework for the cooperation between the two countries. And as the secretary has said, we came with a large delegation, and of course, this shows the importance that we attach to our bilateral relationship between the two countries. And the aim of our bilateral commission really keys in the vision of our president, President Muhammadu Buhari. And so for us, it's extremely important to develop roadmap for that vision within the framework of our bilateral commission. Well, it went on and on and on and on. This is the briefing of the meeting. I will do another video to conclude the briefing of that meeting and all. Please look out for the conclusion. This is just a part one of the meeting. I will do the next news to conclude the meeting, what transpired, the total conclusion. This is not the end. Thank you very much for listening. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Click on the notification button so you can get all our latest news. We're here to keep you up to date with all that is going on in Nigeria. You're very important to us. Have a lovely and a wonderful day. God bless. Bye.